All right, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be a review of this knife, and this is the Hogue Deka by Alan Elishewitz. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, this is a knife that a lot of people have praised, and in general, I've seen a lot of positive feedback about Hogue as a company. So when I found this knife for a pretty good price at a discount, I decided to give it a try. And at first I wasn't 100% sure that this was going to be a design that I loved. It's a little smaller than I typically prefer, with about a 4.25 inch handle and a 3.25 inch blade. But I put it in my pocket and carried and used it for a few days, and I did find that the handle is a lot more ergonomic than I expected. This finger choil gives you a good indexing point, and then even with my relatively wide hand and fingers, you can get a full 4-finger grip in this kind of hammer style grip, and it's comfortable in a pinch style grip also. I also like this machining that gives it kind of a checkered look and also provides a little bit more traction in use. And the blade shape is pretty classic. It's kind of like an elongated clip point with this drawn swedge, and it gives you a good amount of straight edge, some belly, and then a usable tip also. And this knife has what Hogue calls their able lock, and the able lock is what most knife enthusiasts are familiar with as the Benchmade Axis lock. But Benchmade's patent on the Axis lock ran out, and so kind of everybody and their brother is doing their own versions of the Axis lock, and Hogue is calling their version the able lock, and it seems to be well done. When I got this knife, it was solid. It didn't have any blade play. It was really well centered and really nice smooth action. Now, interestingly, after I used it a while and cut a bunch of cardboard with it, it did develop some side-to-side blade play, but the pivot was actually still tight, and I had to really kind of torque on it to break the pivot loose and then adjust the pivot. But once I was able to break it loose and adjust, it did get back to being really solid with no blade play, very smooth, and also very well centered. So although that was a little bit weird that it got some blade play while the pivot was still tight, it does seem to have adjusted back to being really solid. So the lock seems to work well. It's very, very smooth, as you can see, drop closed, and easy to flick open with a thumb or a middle finger, or even just pull the lock back and swing it open. Nice and well centered, and no blade play again once it's been adjusted. So well made. It does come with a tip up pocket clip that you can switch to the other side if you'd like, and the thumb stud has kind of the same design as the lock bar and the pivot. So it's a nice knife. It's very lightweight, very EDC friendly, and it has good materials. Like I said, the handle is G10, and the blade on this is CPM 20CV, which is kind of like an M390 variant. And like I said, I've used this to cut some cardboard, and it seems to have held its edge well. I stropped it, and it's pretty much back to hair popping sharp. So this is one that I think is a nice knife, especially if you like a knife in that 3.25 inch blade range, where it's a little bit smaller than I typically prefer, but is a really great size for a EDC knife for most people. So this is the Hogue Deka, and like I said, one that a lot of people really like, and I wanted to give a shot, and I think it is a really nice knife. One thing I wanted to mention here is that I am interested in trading this for the Hogue Microflip, and I know that's a little bit strange with me saying that I prefer larger knives, being that the Microflip is actually a smaller knife than this, but I got to check out the Microflip at a gun show a while back and just really like the design and the look of it. So if anyone has a Hogue Microflip, particularly in the teal color, that they would be willing to trade for a lightly used Deka, definitely, comment below and let me know, and we can work something out. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell for notifications. Also, check out my Instagram at Knife Thoughts and my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife-related topics. And last but not least, don't forget to go out and do good.